And now it's time to open our Advent box for Advent 2022. Let's see what's inside. In our boxes, we have full kits, 4 joyful surprises. So let's find our first surprise, November 22nd, 1st of Advent. Now, as we open this box, let's see if we can figure out what we'll be making. So here we have this one. Let's see what comes out of the bag. We have, a fun little gift, little glam bag, Christmas themed glam bag. What else? Oh, we have a tool, a point-to-point turner from Clover. That's a great tool. And let's see, we have some fabric, beautiful red and winter themed fabrics. And then one more big thing. What is it? We are going to be making bowl cozies. Now, what are bowl cozies? These are fabulous to use for the microwave. Have you ever had to warm up some soup in the microwave and then it's too hot to get it out? Yes, happens to me all the time. Your bowl gets so hot that you can't even touch it. So these go in the microwave and they're fabulous. So we have enough here. These are already pre-cut battings. We have enough here to make 4 bowl cozies, and this is going to be our fabric. So what we want to make sure, if we're going to use this for the microwave, is to use cotton everything. So 100% cotton fabric, no metallic. And then we have to also make sure that we have cotton batting, and this is cotton batting. And then we also want to make sure we have cotton thread. Very, very important. So all cotton for this project. So let's get started with our fabrics. We have 3 fabrics for this. Our fabric A, that's a 6x21 in your kit. So this one you are going to be cutting into 5-inch squares, 4 of them. Same thing with fabric B, it's the same amount. And then we have fabric C, which is our big piece. We're going to be cutting that into 2 different size rectangles. And you will find all of those sizes to how to cut things in your free pattern you can download from our website. Make sure you do that, get all your fabrics cut, and we are ready to get going. We are going to start with 1 piece of batting. So these are already pre-cut. You can see it already has the darts on the side. And here's what I do. I like to do this, especially to begin with. And so from the point of the dart, I just make a little line. And you can do this with a pen or a water erasable marker. I'm just using a pen so you can see that better on the camera. So we're just extending these lines a little bit so that we can center our first square. So fabric A square, what you want to do is fold it in half, make 2 creases, and do the same thing on the other side. Make 2 creases. So now all I got to do, I'm going to lay this right side up, and all I got to do is match the creases that I just folded with the extended lines, and I know that my piece is already centered on the batting. So we're going to be doing some quilt as you go. So if you have a walking foot for your machine, you want to put that on and center that A fabric right on top. And next thing we're going to do is grab our fabric C smaller rectangles. We are just going to place them right sides together, aligning the raw edges on 2 sides like this. And you want to pin these in place. I like to use my patchwork pins because they're a little bit heavier when I'm pinning through layers of batting, because they don't bend like my patchwork pins, my silk pins that I like to use when I'm piecing. These are patchwork pins, or quilt pins. So I want to pin this, and now we want to take this to our sewing machine and just stitch on each side with a scant 1/4-inch seam. Now for this project, your 1/4-inch seam really does not matter. So we just want to stitch down 2 sides And then we're going to press outwards. So once we have this sewn on here, each side, we just want to press it outwards this way. And now it's time to add the long sides. So we're going to grab our longer rectangles from fabric C, layer them on each side the long way. And again, we're going to pin in place using those heavier pins if you got them. And stitch through the layers, both sides, and press outwards. So this is what you want to do. So once you have sewn these on, you're going to press outwards. And what you want to do is make 4 identical pieces like this. So once it's sewn in, you're going to make 4 that have the A centers, and then the other 4 are going to have the B center. So the exact same thing here, just except we got the B fabric in the middle. So this is fun because they become reversible. So now we have these stitches. We'll see here on the bottom, it's got a little bit of quilt as you go, so it's got some body to it. The next thing we're going to do is take our 8 units, we're going to turn them over, and we're going to trim the fabric even with the batting. So you can do that with scissors. I love my Karen K. Buckley scissors because they just make things so accurate. If you are daring and have maybe a small rotary cutter, you can cut around it with a rotary cutter, but I usually am just faster with the scissors. So now as you see, once you trim the fabric, even with the batting, you have these special shapes of all of your pieces. And now it's time to start sewing them into the bowl shape. So first thing we want to do is just fold them along the dart. So what you want to do is just right sides together with the fabric, fold it along that dart, and just, if you have clips, add a couple of clips to each side. Or pins if you have pins. I like the clips because we're going to be dealing with not a flat piece once you have all of these clipped like this. So once you clip them all, you want to just go ahead and sew along the dart and all the way out on all 4. And you want to obviously repeat that with all 8 pieces of your bowl cozies. So once you have this sewn like that, you have a piece that looks like this. So you want to take these seams and press them open. So push them open, take your iron and press them open as far up as you can. Of course, you can see a little fold in the batting here. Don't worry about that, so that you have all of those pressed open, and now you have a bowl. So now what you want to do is take a fabric A center bowl and a fabric B, and we want to put them right sides together. So I'm going to put fabric A touching fabric B like this, and again now we want to match up those seams that we did the darts. So I'm matching these seams up and using my clips again to clip these. First, I want to clip these corners like that because I want to match those seams up all the way around. You know, this is so nice to use this lightweight cotton batting that is in these pre-cut packs because it doesn't get too bulky. And then we have all sides clipped, and now what we're going to do is we're going to stitch along the outside edges with the right sides together, but we want to make sure to leave an opening, and we want to leave an opening on one of the curved edges. So I usually either just take some pins and make sure I have my marker where I want to leave my opening. So you want it to be big enough for you to turn the whole piece right side out. So I would recommend about 3 inches. So I can just put them here. I know I'm going to start sewing here. I'm going to sew around the whole outside edge and then stop at the other pin. And back stitch on each side, because then you will be sure that it won't open up too much when we turn. So I'm going to go ahead and do this now. We're using my machine and my walking foot. So now I have sewn all the way around, but I left my little opening here to turn. But before I turn, I just want to go right where my corners are and just clip just a little bit to help turn that little corner, not all the way towards the seam, just a little bit. And it does help that you have 2 seams coming together, so you're really just kind of snipping the seams. So this way, everything will kind of go smoother in those inside corners. So now we're just going to go in here and start pushing things through the opening. And this is now where our new precious little tool, the point-to-point turner, is going to come in really handy. So we turn this right side out, and then this turner has both a point and a sharp edge on this side, and then a really nice curved edge on this side, which is perfect to go in here to make our little curved edges nice and round. So you go in there and you kind of smooth it out using that curved part. So you're pushing out the seams. We'll go on the other side. And this is just makes a really big difference in getting all these pushed out, because we are sewing through both fabric and the batting. So now we have them all pushed out, and I'm going to push this to the center. And now all we have is our opening here. But I'm going to start by pressing the curved edges. And if you feel like it's not all the way pushed out and it's a little, you just go back in and push it even better. There. I'm going to put my handy little finger protectors on when I'm working so closely, close to the iron. I'm going to put these on. And so my iron, I want to put on a little bit of steam, and then I want to press these curved edges first. You can get all the way up there with your finger without getting burnt by the steam this way using these protectors. They're silicone, so they're just really great. So now we have this second curve. And the third one. And then we have our opening. So this one, we want to make sure that we fold this back by 1/4 inch. So I like to just fold it back first and press each side at a time. So press a little bit of a curve in it and a fold about 1/4 inch on each side, and then I can make them match up after that. It's just easier when you're working with all of these layers. And the steam, of course, helps when you're creating a curve like that. So now I can match them up. And again, I'm going to use my handy clips to clip them together. And this is just going to get closed and secured when we top stitch around the whole edge. So this is now clipped. And my next step is you want to take a matching thread that matches your outer fabric, your fabric C. So I have some red thread that I'm going to put in my machine, both in the bobbin and in the top, and I'm going to stitch along the outside edge. So first I'm going to stitch with about 1/8 of an inch seam, because I want to be able to catch all that so I don't have a hole opening right where I had the opening. So I usually start right in my opening because that's where I need to be most careful. So I'm going to go ahead and switch my thread and top stitch. So I have a little 1/8 inch marking right here on my foot, so I'm going to be aligning my piece with that because my needle is in the middle. So I start a little bit away from that where the opening starts and right here on the seam on the intersection, and that's where I want to put my foot down and do a little stitching in the same spot to secure my threads, and then I'm just going to go all the way around. Here we have our piece finished with just a single top stitch around the edge. What I am going to do, I'm going to add a second one about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch away inside of that first one. It's just going to give you a little bit tighter, harder edge, and but it's completely optional. You can stay with just the one, but I'm going to add a second go around. So here we have it. All we have to do is clean up our little threads. And we have our first bowl cozy ready for that bowl to go in the microwave. And again, as I told you, it is reversible, so we can flip them either way. You could have 2 different colors. I like to have the same color on the outside on both sides just because it works on the edges, but you could have them totally reversible, 2 different seasons, or you can have a fun novelty fabric on each side, or it'll be fun for kids to choose their own bowl cozy. But I hope you enjoyed making the bowl cozy. So the bowl cozy battings, pre-cut battings, come in 2 sizes. This is for a typical soup bowl, which is the smaller size, and like I told you before, we have 8 pieces in the bag. So enough to make 4 cozies, but it also comes in a larger size. So same technique, but this is for obviously a bigger bowl, for example, for side dishes, if you need to heat them up quickly for that big meal. It's great to use just the cozy as a bowl for candy or anything like that. So this one works great, and you could do some quilt as you go on it, or just use one piece of fabric as well. And then if you wanted to use up some batting scraps, we all know we have lots of batting scraps. There is a template from Creative Grids that you can get that actually lets you cut both the large and the small size. And so it has an inner template for the small size, so both to cut your batting, and if you want to just use one fabric, you can cut the same shape and make these really, really quickly if it's just one fabric. And then it has the outer larger size for the large bowl. So same thing, you would fold your fabric into quarters, so same technique for both templates. But these are great to use up some of your batting scraps, maybe some fabric scraps if you wanted to make simpler ones, and get lots of great gifts done really quickly. I hope you enjoyed making the Quilt As You Go bowl cozies. They are perfect for that really good bowl of soup you need to reheat. So just pop the bowl right in here, goes in the microwave, and you'll never burn your fingers. What a great gift for a set of 4 or more. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.